Lauren Esola, and I'm a 5th grade math and 6th grade English teacher with the Pennsylvania Cyber Charter School. I am currently enrolled in EDU 511 curriculum with Dr. Charles Joyce. This culminating presentation will analyze, evaluate, and critique the curriculum for 5th grade mathematics for the School District of Philadelphia Public Schools. My analysis will also review skills and concept development on the 4th and 6th grade mathematics level to better determine the scope and sequence of content within the overall curriculum. I will particularly be focusing on the areas of curriculum foundations, organization, content, and assessments prior to offering my personal critique. First, I will examine the foundation on which this particular curriculum is built upon for the school. According to the school's website, the mission and vision statement of the Curriculum, Instruction, and Assessment Office for the Philadelphia School District states that it ensures all students leave the school college and career ready. The statement professes that the school ensures success for all students by developing and implementing a high-quality standards-based curriculum while identifying rigorous outcomes for all students. The school boasts that it works with all members of the community, assistant superintendents, the central office, principals, teachers, families, and other stakeholders to ensure that every student graduates college and career ready. To ensure this, the school district is following the national standards movement. The Pennsylvania State Board of Education adopted the Common Core Standards in 2012. For the 2012-2013 school year, the School District of Philadelphia formally adopted these standards after piloting preparation programs during the 2011 and 2012 school year. These standards really lay the foundation for the mathematics curriculum. The Pennsylvania Common Core Standards in Mathematics for 5th grade are also a foundation for this document. These standards for mathematics help lay a solid foundation in whole numbers, addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, fractions, and decimals to support the student's ability to learn more demanding math concepts in the future. The planning and scheduling timeline for 5th grade mathematics is built upon these standards while helping teachers to really plan for daily instruction. The school's website addresses that the curriculum includes the best instructional practices, integrates technology tools, has teachers working collaboratively on aligning curriculum, instruction, and assessment, and it focuses on academic rigor while differentiating instruction. Within the curriculum document, a preface letter by Penny Nixon, who is the Chief Academic Officer of the School District of Philadelphia, notes that the curriculum is developed by administrators and teacher teams from across the district. The inclusion of these many different teacher teams from across the district is important because good curriculum is formed collaboratively to ensure the inclusion of varied interests and perspectives. The School District of Philadelphia curriculum is organized in the academic subject design format. The subject matter is the organizing factor, and there's really an emphasis on chronology for the mathematics portion. PA state standards help to promote this continuous progression from grade to grade. The skills utilized in 5th grade really build the foundation for a future in geometry, algebra, probability, and statistics. The curriculum planning and scheduling timeline is broken into 4 separate quarters that identify specific weekly time frames and standards to be taught within the time frame. Each quarter also has a set of non-negotiables which must be evident in all lessons through all weeks in all quarters. The statements are from the national standards and include statements such as students must make sense of problems and persevere in solving them. The individual quarters are then additionally separated into 5 columns, each with designated. Column 1 provides the content around which lessons will be planned. This column lists the PA Academic Standard Performance Descriptor, PA Assessment Anchor, and eligible content. Importantly, in this column, teachers are also able to identify any grade gaps between current eligible content and Common Core eligible content. Teachers are easily able to spot gaps between grade level curriculums. For example, this off-grade eligible content for 5th grade is identified and highlighted on the screen as M04. In column 2, teachers are able to see the PA Common Core standards and the National Common Core standards. Column 3 offers what the student should be able to do to demonstrate the expected learning and competencies, while column 4 goes into more details about how students will apply their knowledge and skills. This column takes into account individual needs because the column is actually split into two and includes proficient and advanced level work requirements. In this column, the curriculum map specifically references Webb's depth of knowledge and how the tasks reflect different levels of knowledge. The curriculum encourages scaffolding students from basic to advanced to increase student achievement. Finally, the 5th column is for teachers and teams to identify texts and supplemental materials that will be used to enhance the curriculum. Resources utilized may include additional literature or online resources. There is also a presence of design principles in the curriculum. The content is presented in a sequential order. The overall sequencing appears to be part to whole, where complex ideas come after less complex ideas. Part to whole sequencing is prevalent within each quarter. For instance, in the first quarter, students are initially asked to understand and apply place value concepts to show understanding of multi-digit whole numbers. When students are able to express large whole number place value, they're then able to apply these initial concepts to include decimal numbers. After understanding place value, students can then show the relationship greater than or less than between numbers, and especially begin rounding operations using these place value concepts. Each step builds upon one another for success. In another example, students must be able to complete multiplication and fraction tasks in the second quarter to better understand measurement conversions late in the third quarter. In relation to the principle of continuity, students must master grade level prerequisites before moving on to the next grade level. There are also smaller connections between the end of each quarter and the beginning of the next learning experience. There is evidence of spiraling within the curriculum. According to Joyce, spiraling is when key concepts and ideas are presented in more sophisticated and complex forms as students progress through the school program. This is prevalent throughout this curriculum. For instance, over the span of 4th, 5th, and 6th grade, students are exposed to a similar standard related to classifying two-dimensional figures. In 4th grade, students are asked to apply their knowledge by recognizing and identifying points, lines, line segments, and angles in two-dimensional figures. In 5th grade, the students are asked to apply this knowledge by sorting and comparing various polygons based on these attributes. In 6th grade, the students then must describe, contrast, and evaluate the properties of two-dimensional figures in relation to three-dimensional figures. The curriculum is presented more complex as the students progress. The content found within the planning and scheduling timelines is appropriate for student needs related to mandated Common Core and PA Common Core standards. Instructional timelines are provided by noting the length of the quarter in weeks and what students must master prior to the end of the quarter. The proficient and advanced columns integrate differing levels of complexity for each standard. As previously noted, the content objectives reflect different domains of learning and require lower to higher level cognitive applications. Authentic learning and real-life applications are addressed in many sample tasks intertwined throughout the curriculum. For example, in the second quarter, students are asked to find recipes in magazines or newspapers and double, triple, or halve the ingredients. The students must also illustrate one of the fractional measures. This advanced task exemplifies real-world relevance while letting students reflect on the knowledge they have gained. Though sample tasks are listed for each objective, aside from the standards of mathematical practice non-negotiable items, there are no teaching strategies indicated or suggested throughout the curriculum. In the opening letter, it's clearly stated that the content presents expectations, but how the teacher presents the lessons, or uses the resources, or plans time segments will be left to the discretion of the individual teacher. Within this curriculum document, there are sample tasks, but it does not specifically address particular assessments. The detailed sample tasks are all formative assessments to be completed for each particular standard. There is no evidence at the end of the unit or of any kind of quarter summative assessments to determine if a student has mastered certain competencies. The suggested sample tasks are flexible and may be graded upon teacher preference. For example, the sample task in quarter 4 asks students to create a map of their neighborhood using a grid. This is a formative assessment that could be used for graded purposes. The sample tasks are oriented to the specific learning standards. So in this particular example, the learning objective is to graph points in the first quadrant on the coordinate plane and to interpret these points when solving real-world math problems. So this formative assessment and the standard do match up. I have found many positive elements for this planning and scheduling timeline for 5th grade mathematics within the Philadelphia public schools. The curriculum is definitely developmentally appropriate for 5th grade mathematics. The organizational elements are similar to that of my current 5th grade class in PA Cyber in relation to the units and content covered and the sequential order. The scope of the curriculum is appropriate for the newly adopted national standards. Evidence of spiraling and repetition of content at different grade levels also is present and ensures that students are presented with material they're ready for, that their knowledge is reinforced, and that they're able to build upon their skills each year. The curriculum across grades was also consistent in design, which made it easy to compare and read. I also think it's important that the curriculum notes specific goals that should be mastered at the end of each quarter. A good curriculum has clear goals, and these are defined quarterly. The curriculum also takes into account student differences by aiding teachers in scaffolding because it presents both proficient and advanced tasks for how students will apply their knowledge and skills. I also think one of the major exceptional elements of this curriculum is that it specifically notes any gaps between eligible content and Common Core content. Therefore, the off-grade eligible content is easily addressed and identified. The curriculum also presents varied assessments and task levels indicated by Webb's depth of knowledge. Tasks range from lower-level thinking processes, such as identification, to higher-level cognitive thinking, where students are asked to create, prove, and justify concepts. Though there are benefits to this curriculum, I do believe there are several issues. This curriculum is solely aligned with content standards and seems to lack the Common Core shifts, even though they are briefly mentioned at the beginning and end of the document. They're not really intertwined within the document. There are little or no details related to assessment elements or supplemental materials or even time frames. Though the final column is used to determine additional resources, it's necessary that all teachers are delivering similar instruction to ensure the school functions as a professional learning community. I have a few questions related to the curriculum. Are there other differentiated assessments available? Do objectives or assessments really take into account student characteristics or teacher backgrounds in the school? One of the biggest issues that I also have is the clear lack of integration related to 21st century skills. The 21st century model for learning should ensure that students are good collaborators, innovative, globally competent, and technology literate, among others. There was little or no mention of collaborative assessments, global awareness integration, or innovative skills. There are tasks recommended, but technology integration is not mentioned for the tasks. It would be up to the teacher then to add the technology piece as something supplemental. So for example, when the students are asked to illustrate or compute their answers, a teacher would have to, on her own, ask students to create perhaps a screencast explaining the steps of the problem. For improvements, I would strongly recommend including more specific timelines, lesson presentation suggestions, teaching strategy suggestions, clear assessment elements, and technological components to coincide with assessments and the application of knowledge tasks. Additionally, the curriculum should specifically address how 21st century skills will be addressed within each particular lesson and assessment. These suggestions can better ensure an effective and comprehensive curriculum for all students to succeed who are attending the Philadelphia Public Schools. This concludes my presentation today. Thank you for listening to my analysis of 5th grade math curriculum for the Philadelphia Public Schools.